Yeah,
I don't know
I
what we
knew
did
it wasn't, the tenant would suggest they're paying.
Yeah, you move that, walking his dog,
You know, he clicks it.
he uses his car. He's been driving up and down our road,
He swore he
No?
and then the dog chases the truck.
I didn't see
I
it.
think this morning.
Good morning. Welcome to our February 17th meeting. I got a little ahead of myself there. First order of business is adoption of the agenda. Is there any deletions or additions to the agenda? Councilor Shippold.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. If I could just add 7.4 under new business, and that's a Teams meeting with Housing Capital and Assisted Living. I'd like to discuss who would be attending that. So that's 7.4.
7.4. And I'd like to add 7.5, please. Discussion of airport naming. Okay, is there anything else? Seeing nothing, I will call that to a vote. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Our next is a delegation from AltaLink. Due to the inclement weather, they couldn't attend it personally, but they are here in the Zoom meeting. So thank you and welcome.
Hi, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for having us. We're sorry we're not there in person. It's but just with the roads today, we decided it was probably better not to. So, but thank you for having us and accommodating us here. I appreciate it. So my name's Colin Harvey. I'm the Municipal Community Relations Manager with AltaLink, and I have with me Brian Kelly, who's the Emergency Response Program Manager with AltaLink. And we're here just to give you an overview of AltaLink's wildfire mitigation program. So if I could have the slides up. Would that work?
You bet.
Great, thank you. I can also bring it up on my side if that's easier.
If you are able to, Colin, share your screen.
Okay,
Thank you.
I can do that. Thank you. Okay, great. Okay, so sorry about that. So just a little brief introduction on AltaLink. So AltaLink is Alberta's largest transmission electricity transmission provider. Our service territory is in the dark blue on the map there. So as you can see, we're in the more heavily populated area in the province. So we service over 85% of Albertans with over 13,000 kilometers of transmission lines, over 300 substations. And our transmission line voltages are in the higher voltages. So we run from 69 kilovolts or 69,000 volts up to 500,000 volts or 500 kilovolts. And our service territory is primarily serviced from a distribution perspective with Fortis Alberta. So we work very closely with Fortis, and we're certified with Electricity Canada's Sustainable Electricity Designation. This diagram here is just a very simple diagram that just shows the flow of power in Alberta, just to kind of show where AltaLink fits in. So starting on the left, we have our power generation in the province. So that's largely your gas, wind, solar, and hydro. As those companies generate their power, it goes through their substation and moves up onto the transmission system. And that's where AltaLink comes in. So we don't actually own the electricity that flows down our lines. We only own the infrastructure to move the electricity in bulk from the generators to the areas where that electricity is needed. Once the power reaches those areas, it goes through our transformer and the voltage gets stepped down and moved over onto the distribution side, which, as I said, in our service territory is largely Fortis. And Fortis Alberta would be the ones that actually physically connect to your homes, businesses, farms, etc. And then in between there, you have your retailers. So whoever you buy your power from, ATCO Energy or Direct Energy, etc. So moving into wildfires, I'm sure we can all agree that wildfires have become a significant force on the landscape over the last few years. And I think the stats we have at the top there show that we've seen more than doubling of the hectares burned in the last 3 years than we saw as an average for the previous 8 years. So they're becoming more intense, more severe. And on average, only less than 10% of the fires that are started in Alberta are caused by electricity infrastructure. With that said, though, we still take reducing a wildfire risk on our system very seriously, and it's something that we've been working on for quite some time. So AltaLink's had a wildfire mitigation program since 2019, and we've just continued to enhance and expand on that as we learn more from our industry partners and as we have more experiences out there. So this diagram here shows just the components of what makes up our wildfire mitigation program. And I'll touch on each piece really quick as we walk around, and we'll kind of follow the arrows. So we'll start on the bottom left. And so we've done a risk-based approach. So what we've done is we've actually worked with a third-party wildfire expert who's mapped out our entire system. And what we've done with them is identify areas that would be considered high-risk fire areas. So these would be areas that not necessarily more fires are prone to occur there, but if a fire did occur along our transmission line in that area, there's a potential for a more impactful fire in that area. So we use those high-risk fire areas to help focus our wildfire mitigation program efforts. And moving up, we're strengthening our system. So that comes in a variety of things. That's replacing old components along our transmission line with newer, better components in those high-risk fire areas. If some of our lines have wood cross arms, we're working right now to replace those with steel or fiberglass to take away that wood cross arm as a point of potential ignition. We also have a lot of situational awareness we've developed and enhanced. So on a daily basis, we get a wildfire weather report from our third-party wildfire experts, letting us know what's going on across our entire service territory. We've also installed 17 additional weather stations in areas where publicly available weather stations weren't there, so that we could have real-time data there, as well as added 17 cameras as well to be able to get some of that visual identification there as well. And we're testing different technologies as well. We are testing some AI cameras as well right now that can help pick up smoke during those from those cameras themselves. And in the last couple of years, we've expanded our preparedness. So our engagement has really strengthened with a lot of our industry partners, our government agencies, and the communities we're working with. And we're continuing to build those relationships to help better align our emergency practices with those of our partners out there at different government and industry levels. We also have incremental maintenance and inspection. So in those high-risk fire areas, we inspect those lines more regularly, looking for any deficiencies along the line, and if they are noted, they're prioritized and dealt with, as well as same with vegetation management. If any vegetation needs to be dealt with, to again minimize that risk. We have enhanced operational practices. So largely what that is at our substations, we have these pieces of equipment called auto recloser. So if a line trips, they try to re-energize the line immediately to minimize service disruption. And during high fire weather risks times, we'll deactivate those auto reclosers, and so that it doesn't try and re-energize the line. And we'll inspect those lines before we put them back into service to make sure by putting them back in, we don't ignite something that might be a problem along that line. And our last step in our program is our public safety power shutoff. And so public safety power shutoff is our last resort prevention measure. It's one of the tools we have in the toolbox that we have to keep our community safe. And what it is in times where we have very extreme and dangerous weather conditions, we would look to proactively turn off the transmission lines in those areas during those weather conditions. So it's not a decision we take lightly as utility. As a utility, it's our nature to want to keep the lights on 100% of the time as best we can. So turning the power off is not something we take lightly, but if we think it's the safe thing to do for the communities we serve, it's a tool, as I said, that we're willing to use. So throughout the wildfire season, we're constantly monitoring a range of factors. And so this diagram here shows those factors. And I would say the first four, with the wind, humidity, vegetation, and the real-time observations, those are the ones we're looking at in what I would say would be our proactive public PSPS. Meaning, so again, that's based on the weather conditions that we're seeing. So if it's very windy, low humidity, dry vegetation, we may, those conditions may trigger a PSPS. Those real-time observations is where we're going to be using those weather stations, the cameras, boots on the ground if they're available as well, to be able to make sure we're getting the best information before making that decision. The last one, the fire in the vicinity, is more of a reaction of PSPS. So if a fire ignites in close proximity to one of our lines, depending on how the fire is spreading, we may also look to turn off that power line so that if any debris or anything is flying ahead of the fire, it's not hitting our line, potentially igniting, dropping to the ground, and spreading that fire faster than it maybe normally would. And this diagram here just shows our process that we kind of walk through as we move through a public safety power shutoff. So as I mentioned, we're monitoring the conditions. Once we start seeing those conditions start to increase and we're moving towards those thresholds for a PSPS, we move into our PSPS watch. And once those thresholds are enacted, we'd also be starting to move into our PSPS protocols. Within there, we would also be, at this time, be starting to have conversations with the dams at the municipalities that may be impacted by the PSPS, and also notifying our elected officials. Once we get closer to the date, we would be moving into our communication protocols, where we would be working with Fortis as well as the municipality to start notifying the public as well that we may be looking to turn off the power in the near term. Right up to, if the thresholds continue to be met, turning off the power, and we continue to monitor until we see those thresholds. The thresholds, the forecast drop below those threshold levels. Once we feel we can start turning that power back on, we will look to do that. The trick we have is with the power being off, we don't have any data to let us know what condition the line is in. So we do have to get out there and manually inspect the line. So whether that's by air, if available, or on the ground, and depending on if there's any damage or anything, that can delay how long the power can be off. But we'd be working to energize it as soon as possible, to the point where we turn the power back on, and then we would go back to monitoring conditions and start over. This diagram here just kind of shows some of the fire connectivity reports we get from our third-party wildfire expert when we have a reactive PSPS, where we have a fire in close proximity to our lines. On these diagrams, the red lines are our transmission lines, the red dots the fire. The blue cone kind of shows the anticipated area of spread for that fire, and the colors around it identify kind of the fuel connectivity through that area. So we use this information to help us educate ourselves on what's happening on the ground to see if we should be turning that line off ahead of that fire. Another big component of our program is targeted community outreach. So we every spring we run a targeted media program. So that can come in the way of radio ads, newspaper ads, a lot of social media. And these are some examples of the placards that we use. And so really what we're trying to do here is educate the folks, educate the public that we have a wildfire mitigation program, what we're doing with it, that there's a public safety shutoff, and where they can go to get more of that information. Another big component is part of our messaging is to ensure that people are prepared for any emergency and potentially extended power outages, and to have emergency kits ready for them that can last up to 72 hours. So we're very active on a number of media sites, and we have our links there. And it's a great spot to stay connected with us throughout the fire season or any other time for any information related to AltaLink and our operations. And another big component that we're doing over the last couple of years too is really working with our utility partners and industry partners and government agencies to help align processes. So we're right now working with the government of Alberta and Alberta Wildfire through their Powerline Wildfire Risk Mitigation Task Force. So that task force includes supporting development of Alberta's wildfire mitigation strategy, sharing data and real-time updates on wildfire conditions to enable rapid and informed operational decisions. Last year also, AltaLink was one of the founding members of the Alberta Wildfire Utility Coalition, and we were founding partners alongside with ATCO and Fortis Alberta. And so that's been a great program where all three companies are sharing best practices, and we're also moving with advocating for reasonable and consistent industry standards to reduce wildfire risk and increase resiliency. And last, just some contact information for Brian and I, for council or CAO Kraus. I would be your contact for any AltaLink related questions or industry questions. When it comes to any emergency planning, coordinating, or anything like that, Brian's AltaLink's contact for that. And so just our information there. And that is our presentation. We'd be happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Does any council have any questions? Councillor Shippold.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. The question is, what the synergies are between Rocky Mountain House and yourselves. Do you have lines in here? Why would we be, I like, Fortis is our go-to here. I just want to know why we'd be knocking on your door. What would be some examples of why we'd be knocking on your door?
So as I kind of mentioned, so AltaLink does have transmission lines within the town of Rocky Mountain House itself. So we bring the power to Fortis, who then distributes it throughout the town. So we are somebody that you can contact if you are having service disruptions. We work closely with Fortis on that. But that would be largely, I think, what the coordination would be.
Okay, thank you. Anything further? Seeing nothing, well, I'd like to thank you both very much for your presentation today. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, 4, adoption of the previous minutes. Is there any, Councillor Shippold?
Your Worship, I just, we made a motion, or we agreed on the agenda, but we didn't put a motion forward first. So I just, sorry, I just want to.
I'm sorry, please. Thank you
So
for
I'll just
catching
make the motion that we accept the agenda as amended.
that. As amended.
And I think we voted before we made the motion. So I
Yeah.
just want to make sure that for the recording secretary, they have a name to the motion. Well, did he?
Thought I had, but I wasn't. Maybe
Oh,
I thought
sorry.
I missed it. That's okay.
Sorry.
No,
Thank you.
that's just fine. Good that we catch it. Yep. So previous minutes, is there anything to discuss there? Seeing nothing, then I will call for the vote. All in favor of accepting previous minutes? Thank you very much. 5, delegation business, AltaLink. Didn't realize everything they did here, so that was interesting. Any, Councillor Shippold.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. Also move the AltaLink presentation as received as information.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion? And that is carried. Thank you. New business, 7.1 is the medical clinic building. Good morning, Mr. Schwader.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Just before Council today in regards to the Rocky Medical Clinic building, at the February 2nd ICC meeting, there was a motion made that the building be put up for sale at the ICC. It was carried by both councils. I'm presenting to our council. County will present to their council in regards to the sale of the building. Alternatives were presented to ICC, and there was a recommendation that the building be put for sale for $970 or offers. And that is why I'm here today.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Schwader? Nothing? I guess we're all happy. Okay then, well, thank you very much. Would someone make the motion then to accept this? Counselor Kayla.
Would we make it a motion to accept it or to proceed with the sale?
Proceed with the sale, is that correct?
Be resolved that council, upon confirmation of Clearwater County, lists the Rocky Medical Building through the local real estate companies at a price of $970,000, taking a reasonable offer under the condition that the present leaseholders are provided time to vacate the building.
Thank you. Motion's on the table, any discussion? Seeing none, I will call that to a vote. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Schwader. Next is 7.2, bylaw 2026-04, rezoning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. We have before you an application to amend the land use bylaw. It's a 4.34 acre parcel. The applicants are applying to rezone that parcel from reserve for future development to flexible residential. We did a review of these, our municipal development plan or intermunicipal development plan in our Southwest Area Structure Plan. The parcel is designated areas for residential, neighborhood residential, and residential in general. So we feel that the application to rezone that parcel to flexible residential does fit the statutory plans for that area, and it also fits the some of the surrounding areas, particularly Creekside, south in that area, which is zoned for flexible residential and low-density residential, which is why we're ultimately recommending that first reading be given to the bylaw today, and then a public hearing be scheduled for March 17th. Happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Great, thank you. Any questions? Did you have something?
I didn't, sir.
Okay. Then would someone please make the motion? Counselor Boniface.
Be it resolved that the council give first reading to amending bylaw 2026/4, a bylaw to amend the Town of Rocky Mountain House land use bylaw as presented, and that the administration set the public hearing date for the 17th of 2026 at 9 a.m. in council.
That good?
Can I make a recommendation, March 19th, because it RMA is that week, so the council meeting's been moved to the 19th.
Sure.
Okay,
Could you
make
change
it
it?
to March 19th, 2026 at 9 a.m. at the council chambers.
Thank you. Any questions about the motion on table? Seeing none, I will call that to a vote. All in favor? Thank you, and that is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Next is 7.3, Fire Department SCBA's. Mr. Kraus.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So part of the 2026 capital budget, the fire department put forward a project to replace all of the breathing apparatus through the whole regional fire service. Council had questions on that, and the fire chief did present to the ICC, providing the explanation behind it. So previously, the town did pay for replacement of the breathing apparatus in Station 60. And at that time, we thought it was a full replacement through the whole regional service, but it wasn't. It was just in Station 60. So with them reevaluating their breathing apparatus and for best service that they can provide and for uniformity across the regional service, they're looking to replace all of the breathing apparatus through the service to a different brand than they did with the Station 60. So to accomplish that, we would have to, or under the agreement, pay 50% of the cost for Station 60, which is actually $113,700. So a budget amendment would be required. And in the discussion with the fire chief, the sale of the breathing apparatus that was purchased previously would go towards the capital cost.
Councillor Stone.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. The sale of the equipment is going, sorry, where is it?
Towards the capital costs. So right now, what they're requesting is 113,700. If they sell, or when they sell the current breathing apparatus, that would drop off that 113,700.
Thank you. And then we're only looking at, or only, it's a fairly significant number, we're looking at 63,700?
No, we're looking at 113,700.
But we've already, we didn't attach 50,000 to this initially?
No,
Thank you.
total, yeah.
Okay.
You know, I'll be honest and say that I'm hesitant of this, but I also realize what our firefighters do and the danger they can put themselves in. As long as the units that are currently being used are sold and whatever monies goes to against this, I feel we should go ahead. We do need to protect those men and women who do that. So that's my feeling. Any other discussion? Councillor Shippold.
Thank you. At ICC, we'd asked the fire department to come back and explain why the monies were being spent, because there was a question at this table about that. The fire chief did come back and explain why, went into depth as to the reasoning behind why this purchase was, he felt, necessary. And I totally supported what he had to say. So, as with Mayor Boniface, I would, Councillor Kalin was there as well. I would support this, and with that, I would make the motion.
Please do.
Be it resolved, the council amend the 2026 capital budget for project 2305, that's the self-contained breathing apparatuses, from 50,000 to 113,700, with the condition that the revenue received from the disposal of the current self-contained breathing apparatuses be applied to the new acquisition.
Thank you. Are there any other concerns or questions? Seeing none, I will call that motion to a vote. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Next is correspondence for action. Oh, I am sorry. I apologize. I didn't have it on here. I have it on here. 7.4, and that is Councillor Shipple, please.
Thank you. This is a meeting that has been put together to talk to Alberta Housing and Assisted Living. They've got a meeting scheduled for us on March 5th, a Zoom meeting for our council. The question is, who do we invite there to as well with us, or to be with us? So this has to do with Westview Lodge, Lesaville, the possibility of Caroline. So at this point, we've got the invite for our council with the suggestion that we invite whoever else we think should be necessary to attend. So the question is, do we invite Clearwater Council and Vanessa from Westview Lodge to sit in on the meeting? And if we invite this many people, where would we have a Zoom meeting at? I don't think council chambers would hold that many people. So
No.
I just throw that out maybe to administration as to a suggestion as to who they think we should have.
Who we should have? Yeah, so senior housing is, not within the municipal mandate or jurisdiction, right? So it is through the Rocky Seniors Housing Council that this project would be initiated, basically, and overseen by. So definitely either the CAO of the Seniors Housing Council and at least their board chair, I would suggest. And obviously this also affects Clearwater County with Leslieville and Caroline, so some representatives from that organization.
Okay. Councillor Boniface.
Being on the Seniors Housing Council, that was a question that I had. We just did the a strategic planning meeting the other day, and there was a ton of information that I thought would apply to this meeting. And I have all the paperwork so I could present it, but I think Vanessa would do an amazing job, and she has put a lot of work into it. So if we had any questions, she'd be more capable of answering these questions than I would just from the paperwork that I got the other day. But I think it would be a very good idea.
Councillor Shippold.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. So having said that, then I guess where I'd be, and I'm not sure if it has to be in a motion form, that we would invite Clearwater County to attend, as well as the would be Vanessa from the lodge, as well as the chairperson from the lodge. And if that needs to be in a motion form, then I'll make that in a motion form to invite those people, and have administration have them, and to get a location for that meeting.
Councillor Boniface.
Two of the Clearwater County are also on the board, so yeah, you would have 4 people that have had this conversation. So I think they would, between the 4 of us, we could probably answer anything that they had questions for.
So, thank you, Councillor Boniface. So to that, would we invite the whole board, or just?
Councillor
The-
Boniface.
Thank you, Mayor. The whole board as in Clearwater County or the senior housing?
Senior housing.
I think there's only 3 other people that are on the board that wouldn't be already at the meeting. I think we'd have it covered, and I don't know if we could invite them out of politeness if we're not having it in this room.
I guess my thinking is, at the end of the day, if they're the ones driving the bus, then they should probably all be there, so that they're there from the beginning to know the processes. So I would then extend that invite to that committee. Are they called a committee, or?
Yes.
A board, to that board, as well as to the county council. So I'll amend my motion to do that.
Do that. Okay. Okay. Then the motion is on the table. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Next is 7.5. This just came to me yesterday, and unfortunately I didn't have a time to talk to Mr. Kraus about it. So, Mr. Kraus, would this be a discussion that would be best if I had with yourself and Deputy Mayor, or it's about naming the airport? It's fine? Yeah, okay, thank you. So the request was made to rename the Rocky Airport in honor of Ken Fowler to Fowler Field, Rocky Mountain House Regional Airport. I have a letter of support from our MLA, Minister Nixon. Minister Nixon is willing to pay for any cost due to signage or anything like that. And basically, this would be no cost to our community. It would be in respect for someone who in the past did a lot for our community and that we sadly lost. So it's just on the table. Councillor Shippold.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. I'm going to make a suggestion that if the council feels that it's something we would do, that it would go to the next ICC for discussion. This is a joint operation at the airport, so I think it's critical that we have everybody on
agree.
board. So my suggestion is look for, if council wants us to, add it to the agenda for the next ICC meeting.
Sure. Then I would make the motion to bring this to the next ICC meeting and for further discussion at that time. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Our next is 8, correspondence for action. Blue Mountain Power Co-op, AGM invite. Is this held here in Rocky? Leslieville? Okay. Would anybody like to attend? Councillor.
Thank you, Mayor. I would be happy to attend this. I think it would be great to have council representation there at the AGM, and and anybody else, I guess, that might be interested, but I would like to go.
Okay, good. I will attend that myself. Councillor Sinclair?
I as well as, I'm interested in going to this as well.
Great, thank you. Okay. Do we need a motion? Thank you. Motion on the table, please, someone? Councillor Musker.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that any councillors that want to attend the Rocky Gas Co-op Annual General Meeting on Thursday, April the 16th, 2026, be allowed to do so and make arrangements with administration.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Correspondence for action, none. Or information, pardon me, none. Action list, Mr. Kraus.
Thank you, Mayor. So the first one is the town-owned lot on Main Street, so that has been sent to and added to the agenda for the strategic and priority review workshop in the fall. Bicentennial, that was a request to put on the next ICC meeting, so we are gathering information and it'll be put on the agenda for the next ICC, which hasn't been established yet. Invitation to Cape. I believe Ms. Breeze has reached out, and that is scheduled for March 19th. Next one is the ICE policy, ICE allocation policy, and that is scheduled to be presented to council on March 10th.
Thank you. Any discussions on the items Mr. Crow spoke about? Seeing none, can I get a motion, please? Councillor Musker.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that we accept the action list as presented.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call to a vote. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Any notices of motion? Councillor Shippold.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface.
Administration inquiries, pardon me.
That's okay. So a question about Main Street parking. So somebody came to me and they said, you know, it's really tight if we have big trucks parked down there. Can we change the angle of the parking on Main Street so it takes away some of the aggressiveness of the vehicles that are sticking into the driving lane? I go like, I don't know. I'm not even sure if an angle change would make a difference. Have we ever looked at a possible angle change of the parking on Main Street so that the trucks that are long, I don't know if they still stick as far into the driving lane as they do now or not? I have no idea. Lines are painted. It's hard to put new lines in. My first thing is no, but I'm not sure. I said that I'd ask the question as if it's ever been looked at or if it's a possibility. So,
Thank you, Mayor, to Deputy Mayor. We haven't looked at it. I mean, it's the first time this idea has been brought forward to me anyway, or for an idea.
fair enough.
Typically, the angle parking is based on the aisle width of the road. So if you did try to do like from a 45 to a 30 degree change, meaning it's possible, but you'd also be losing stalls.
Councillor Musker.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
This
sorry.
should be off.
No problem. Councillor Shippold. Oh, pardon me, Councillor Saunders.
No problem. Thank you, Mayor Boniface. I have to agree because I've got a 3/4 ton with a deck on it and it sticks out, and I've often wondered if that wouldn't save that extra length, putting the angle, gain a foot or two, because every time I park, I wonder if I'm gonna make it. On the other hand, I wonder if there's any reports of accidents on Main Street from length. I mean, it's already a 30-kilometer, I believe, zone, and I think everybody is pretty cognizant of the angles, so there's a lot of courtesy extended there, so there'd be probably a significant cost in a sense, changing them. The old ones would be there, so I'm not sure. If there hasn't been a lot of accidents or any accidents, then I'm not sure it's worth the effort.
Councillor Shippold.
I'm not feeling any traction, so I'm going, I think it's been brought forward and I did what I said I would do, so.
Okay.
Okay, the second item is to do with, if somebody moves a house off a lot with anticipation to likely build, how long do they have to build, or how long can a lot stay empty? Now, the people that came to me are more or less talking about a lot that's on 52nd A Avenue and 57th Street. So that's sort of kitty corner of Highway 11A and 60th Avenue. There was a house that was there and it was moved, and there's snow fence up there. And they're just saying, like, will ever anything happen? Do you have a bylaw that says, hey, after 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, something's got to happen? Or does it sort of sit there the way it is and the neighbors put up with them unsightly, as they say, unsightly side yards?
So, Mayor to Deputy Mayor, so no, there is not any requirement. If you move off a home, you could have your lot vacant for however long you wish. There's no mechanism for us to force someone to build. The second part of the question, if it is becoming unsightly, then we can address that through our community standards bylaw.
Thank you, Mr. Gross.
Anything further? Okay. We don't need a motion on any of that, do we? No, good. Moving on then, I got ahead of myself, so notice of motion now. Is there anything to bring to the table? Nothing? Then I will call the 5-minute break, please, and then when we come back, we'll go into closed session. Thank you. Thank you. Could I get a motion, please, to go into closed session? Counselor Stalker.
Yes, I would move that we go into closed session.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Thank you and welcome back. We have some motions to make. Councillor Boniface,
Be it resolved that council proudly names Nicole Robertson Distinguished Voluntary Service.
thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Councillor Sinclair,
Be it resolved that council probably acknowledges Jackson Gray for Youth Civic Award.
great. All in favor? And that is carried. Councillor Kalen,
Let it be resolved that council proudly names Mike Cochran to the Athletic and Sports Excellence Award.
thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Councillor Musker.
The next agenda item.
Oh, I'm sorry, the next agenda item, and I don't have it in front of me.
Okay,
anymore.
be resolved the council accept agenda item 13.3, intergovernmental relations, Wild Rose School Division for information, and that administration bring back more information regarding that discussion.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? And that is carried. Councillor Stalker.
Be it resolved that council accepts 13.4 of the agenda, the CAO dialogue for information.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. I believe that is all the motions. Okay. Seeing none, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you for joining.